Talk, dog.
Ọmọ Yorùbá kí la fẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá kí la fẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í tọ́ mi sẹ́yìn o. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Èyí tẹ́ pa wá jẹ́ òtítọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìyà yìí máa pọ̀ lápọ̀jù. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹyọ wa jẹ́ tún pa wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ebi ń pa wá, ìyà ń jẹ wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Haúsá bòrò ló ti pa wá tán. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Èdè wa ń ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Nísìnyí o, Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ pariwo, ẹ gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kó dàmọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ kó rí gbọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè nísìnyí o. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọdé ìlú máa ń pariwo. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àgbààgbà ìlú ti gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Obìnrin ìlú dẹ̀ ń faraya. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Èyí tí àjẹ́ wa ó ti tó. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Òṣì yìí máa pọ̀ lápọ̀jù. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹyọ àjẹ́ tún pa wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ebi ń pa wá, ìyà ń jẹ wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Haúsá bòrò ló ti pa wá tán. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Orí títí no surrender. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà ń pariwo. No more wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá World Congress ń faraya. Break it on nísìnyí o. Yorùbá World Voice dẹ̀ ń pariwo. Yorùbá nation nísìnyí o. Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà máa ń faraya. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́ o. OPC fìgìláńtẹ́. Ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá lápapọ̀. Gbogbo wọn ti gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation nísìnyí o. Akíntóyè bàbá ń pariwo. Good night to Nigeria. Yèyé Òṣàtọ́lá ń pariwo. Bye bye to Nigeria. Bàbá rọpò ẹ̀.
Go two times and they try to wriggle things and turn things a bit upside down. And
Bye bye to Nigeria.
said, you know what? Yeah, the constitution.
Faraya. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́ o. AYCTC ń pariwo. Yorùbá nation nísìnyí o. Olayomi Koiki media. Àwọn kókó ti gbóhùn sókè. Good night to Nigeria. Bàbá Èkìtì ń polongo. Yorùbá nation nísìnyí o. Mayegun general ń faraya. No more wọn Nàìjíríà. Ọmọọba Adéjọkẹ́. Màmá kókó ti gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation nísìnyí o. Ààrẹ Fárúkù ń pariwo. Good night to Nigeria. Olúọmọ Sunday Igboho. Akọgun gbogbo Yorùbá o. Ọwọ́ mi lókè fọ́mọdé mọ̀. Bàbá kókó dẹ̀ ń faraya. A ò ṣẹlú Fúlàní mọ́ o. Èyí dùn tó bá ń dán ọmọdé ẹ mọ orúkọ rẹ̀ ò ní parun. Orí títí no surrender Yorùbá nation la fẹ́.
I used to work 9 to 5.
Araba yìí kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wó. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Araba yìí kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wó. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Àṣà ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ gbé. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Ìjì ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ gbé lọ. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Ìtú ayé kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ pa ó. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wó. Kò nílé wó ọlọ́gbọ́n ayé o ẹ̀sùn mọ́ bí. olóyè ayé ẹ má bá mi ká lọ. ọ̀fọ̀ ìgbéyàwó ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ ẹnu mi. mo ní igi là ń bẹ nígbò ìgbò. ìgbò ìmà mi wò lọ. Araba yìí wá ń gbìyànjú kò dọ́mọ kó wà lárẹ́rẹ́ lọ. Igi ńlá iyọ̀ wà lóhun tó máa fi ṣàràbà lóore. Oníwíwó ní káràbà ìlọ́wọ́ láwùjọ igi. Onílé wo kò máa gbúdọ̀ wò. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Ṣódà àbáwọn sọ Fúlàní wọ̀nyí bó ṣe ń pa wá. Ṣó wá sùn ọkọ̀ máde ẹ mọ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kó jáwọ́ ní. Àwọn àgbààgbà ikọ̀ wọn kò tíra mú odò sí wa kó wà láyé rẹ̀ lọ. Ó máa ṣe òye kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò. Araba ní egbodò wó láwùjọ. Bá mi kọ́ mọ́dé mọ́. Èmi kí ọmọ yìnyọ ilẹ̀ akíkanjú ọkùnrin ogun. Èrò bá mi kọ́ mọ́ wọn ní gbọ́ ọmọ rẹ̀. Iná máa rógún màmá ti di pẹ̀lẹ́ ọmọ bàbá rógún màmá ṣojo. Sunday ẹ̀yẹ tó má ṣe bọ́ kí yẹn ò sí ní gbọ́mọ́. Òrìṣà tí ó ṣe bọ́kọ̀ màdé mọ́ ni ṣe bí yẹn ò kọ́ mọ́ lágbẹ̀dẹ. Ẹ̀bà lè jẹ́ ẹ̀bọ̀nà jẹ́. Adéyẹmí yóò máa sọ kọ̀ọ̀kan láì dáa. Kìkì orí tó máa kọ́ ni wípé Yorùbá nation ìlógó ìbá kìíní. Ẹ̀dá bí rẹ̀ ṣọ̀wọ́n òye kó máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò. Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò, onílé wò ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká rórí. Ọjọ́ wo ni wọ́n dalẹ̀ Ifẹ̀ tán gangan? Àwọn kan sáré kó lè dára. Èrè bó bàjẹ́ kó kọ̀ mí làwọn kan sá.
Symptoms are addictions are move away from people's opinions are you are too fast.
Well, you have criticism, whatever you do. But I do say all the time, if you are convicted and you know exactly what you are doing, you don't give a hoot about what people are saying.
Your face is so
seems to be what Kofi Boham is saying. So, like Starr Radio UK, we believe in a cause. We believe in the freedom of everybody. We believe that people shouldn't be marginalized. We believe our leaders should be accountable to us, there to serve us, not to enrich themselves, their families, and their cronies. So, what about that? Well, to do that, I've got with me the white lion himself, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, after that long week's holiday, and he's back, refreshed and all ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me say, massive good morning to you, Yummy.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our viewers and listeners from around the globe, and welcome once again to the Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we are now just almost half of the year gone already. The month is also running very fast, and there is still a lot happening in the most populous black nation that is called Bako in Nigeria. And like you said, it's been a week away, but it's great to be back again after the long week.
Yes. How are you? How was the weekend? The holidays? And I mean, just comparing it, because we know we talk about all these things, and we're looking at our families back home, and we're thinking, okay, if somebody's in Nigeria, they are on a long vac and stuff like that. How able are parents to afford, I mean, going for holidays, for a break of the sort? Anything of the sort?
Well, holiday costs a lot, and you have to plan for it, and especially you also determine what part of the globe that you want to visit. The world is a big place, but the question is, how safe is Nigeria? Is many question in the heart. Many people would prefer to go to Nigeria for different reasons, while some might just want to avoid it, also because of so many tension on the ground as well. And I believe one person like myself, it's not the appropriate time to travel to Nigeria, as we have a lot of different reasons for that. But traveling to other side of the globe is one beauty thing that you love to. But it's good to be back after the long week, and especially a good time spent with the family.
Yes, it's very, very important. And if you've not had the chance to spend that, well, take a leaf from Yomi's book, have some chill, and spend some time with the family. As they grow, they grow so quick. By the time you say Jack, and then you think, come, and they say, no, you go home, and then they are in their rooms. We don't want that, right? So that is the time to do that. And welcome back, Yomi. It's nice to have you back there. All right, then. Now let's move on to the story that is making the rounds in Nigeria. Today from the update from Nigeria, and I can see in the background some of the ministers who have been approved by the federal government's economy security priority is prioritizing economy security as ministers take oath today. So, who are those behind you? We know someone is now becoming a reggae artist, and we'll be talking about all that. But yes, what is government doing? How is it prioritizing everything that is talking about there? Yummy.
Well, quite a lot is happening as we speak right now. You're quite right. We'll see if we can get the image, also the video image behind the scene. But for those behind me, I'll be giving you a bit of the background. I've been away for a couple of days, but ministers have now, been finally, after 60 days, they are ready to crack on and revive the economy that is completely down. And there's a lot of work that needs to be put in place if they are going to support this government. I'll be telling us more about those ministers, especially on Wednesday when we have ample of time. But let's go through the names that we have. As the minister take the oath of office today, the priority focus of the federal government will be on the economy, and guess what? Security. Security is the backbone of any economy, and if they don't have the security, you are not likely to be doing investment. And behind now is the footage. This is a live transmission that is still going on in Abuja as I speak to you right now. I'll be telling you everything we need to know. Those names and the images that you've just looked at to your right hand side, far right, I'm sure it's somebody that we all know very well. Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, is now going to be in charge of the FCT. Little bit of reasons for that. Some say maybe just to make sure the checkmate team doesn't go beyond its boundary. I don't know how far that is true. But like I said, there is a lot going on. top presidency also says that there was some changes as well, that appointment will be guided by 8-point agenda of the president as stated during his election manifesto. Also, it was further learned that the president might set target and performance index, maybe again to make sure that any of the ministers are working in accordance to what they expected. I've seen the, let's see if we can bring that image back again. On the table of this particular inauguration that is about to kickstart, I could see the Quran, I could see the Bible, and I believe those are the major ones that is being used in Nigeria. A lot of people might be asking, where is the traditional one? Because it seems that the traditional one, as you can see there behind the scene, the traditional one works faster than the Bible and the Quran, but it seems that the old book is ready to take in the new ministers in Abuja as we speak. I'll come back again to you in the studio, but like I said, I'll be telling you more about each of these ministers as we go along in the program this morning. But on Wednesday, we will debate, we will talk about every of the ministers that is appointed under this new government and how are they going to be reliable, how are they going to work to make sure that the agenda of the government works in place.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, Olawoluwa Oguntola, good morning to you. Good morning, Yomi. Actually, great to see you all again this week. Hope you all had a good weekend. Yes, we did. And big thanks to the back end team as well. And big thanks to you, Olaoluwa. We thank God that Nigeria didn't happen to you. Agana Dedeji, massive good morning to you, and to as many of you who are on the various platforms listening to us, Starr Radio UK. Now, before even the president appointment, the various appointments, they take the office. He's shuffled some of them. Which of the ministerial bodies has he already shuffled? Thinking that no, I think I need this one there and that one there. Yomi.
Well, we saw some few changes, just as they were going into the Senate for, what is normally done if a minister is coming in place. A couple of changes happened, but I believe that many Nigerians believe that, it's just the same set of people. We have more governors, we have new people coming in like Wale Edun. That will be the finance and the coordinating minister for economy. Like I said earlier, Wike is the Federal Capital Territory. The question is, would they be able to change anything from what the former president Muhammadu Buhari was unable to do? Would Tinubu, as we've read, the president, be able to put in checkmate on these new individuals like his predecessors? It seems that the petroleum, the president preferred to hold on to the petroleum ministry. Buhari did the same thing. It seems that Bola Tinubu is doing the same thing as well. President will head the petroleum ministry, while a former senator, Enik Lakpobiri, is the Minister of State and Petroleum Resources. Like I said, there is an 80-page manifesto containing multi-sectoral policy option tagged Renew Hope. Some have thought it's now called Renew Shege, but some say it's too early to call it Renew Shege since the president is not even a year in the office yet.
Well, listen, let's start ready. Okay. Now, interestingly, you were talking about the fact that because behind you we saw the Bible, we saw the Quran, and we didn't see anything of the traditional, the traditionalists. So I mean, definitely there will be some traditionalists who have also been appointed. But my question is, now we've seen people who have come in with the Bible. Maybe somebody can come in with their father's Bible or their mother's Bible, as huge as it is, or some Quran, some old one, say that this one was the one that Muhammad blessed some time ago, and they said this one we put our hands on it, and they come in and they are doing worst of things. So you ask yourself the question, what is the point? But we have the president who has come out with whether a yardstick or something to give to them and say that is what is going to be measuring them up. Does that mean that maybe this time around we're going to be seeing the ministers being actually watched and monitored and being assessed as to their performances?
Well, performances is a very key, and if you want performances, it has to start from the top. That means those that will be heading this ministerial position. And let me give us, some of the background of some of them as well. Challenges before Fagbemi, that is the new AGF. Remember that there are some key individuals that we're going to be talking about them continuously, and that is the AGF, the Attorney General of the Federation. The engineer is going to bring us the image up in just about a few minutes. What are we expecting from the new AGF that will be different from what Malami, was doing? That will be different. He will be representing this new AGF. That's the face there. He will be the one in charge of so much. Let's talk about it. The only ministerial position directly created in the Nigerian Constitution to perform some specialized duties is that of the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Wale Ibitade. This ministerial nominee, Chief Lateef Fagbemi, who has a legal career spanning for 4 decades, has enormous opportunity to make a difference. We saw Malami could not make those difference, especially, with so much cases when it comes to, some of our cases that we have with the international community, especially legal cases that made Nigeria to lose out when it comes to, money and opportunities as well. Of all the ministerial portfolio, the only one that is directly created, like you said, under the Constitution is this particular AGF. For instance, while Section 151 of 1999 Constitution specifically stated, there shall be an AGF who shall be the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, the Minister of the Government of the Federation. Subsection 2 of the statute book specifically denies the qualification or the criteria for the occupant of the office. Section 1741 goes ahead to state that the AGF shall have the power to institute, undertake criminal proceeding against any person before any court of law in Nigeria, other than a court martial in respect of any of the offenses created by or under any act of the National Assembly. So this particular individual will have to deal with cases. Let me tell you some of those cases that he will have to start with. The most important one is also the one of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, rendition back to Nigeria by the federal government. I'm talking about the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. The law has not worked in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. Will the AGF now allow the law to work? Let's talk about El Zakizaki. There's also the law hasn't worked against him as well. Let's talk about Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. Is this going to make any changes with the new AGF? And so many other cases that are pending as the AGF has its desk full of files to deal with. Let me come back again to you in the studio. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, and as I'm saying, there is lots that is happening. But do you think that with this ministerial appointments and reshuffling of a few of the appointments, and do you think Tinubu is going to do any better than what we are seeing with the people that he has, and the fact that it's going to be monitoring or be in charge of the the crude oil bits? I mean, looking at that, which is, the main sources of revenue for the country. Do you think that is going to bring about any difference? And the fact that people are just going on swearing oath and using all that, what do Nigerians even think about that? If you're listening to us, what do you think about that? Do you think the fact that somebody's taking the Bible and said, I put my hand on it, I will do the right thing, means that the person is going to do, or had the Quran, and so I put my hand on it and I promise Allah I'm going to do everything? Do you think that they are doing anything good with everything that we've seen so far? I want you to add your voice to the discussions this morning. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's go. But Aziz says, good morning to you all, the Starr Radio UK team, Mr. Archie and Mr. Koiki. Aziz, thank God you are still alive and Nigeria has not happened to you. Starr Radio. Okay, now let's move on quickly. Now, we have one of the appointees who was disqualified. That's El Rufai, who is now taken to the social media. And maybe I should have allowed you to bring that image or talk about that image first. Let's go to the image that you have behind you, the lady behind you, and then we can come to El Rufai. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, humanitarian affairs and poverty elevation. As we speak today, 130 million Nigerians are living in abject poverty. Betty Edu has a lot of work to do. How is she going to make sure that many lives of Nigerians are lifted out of poverty with a portfolio is a question that many of us will be looking up to. Again, when we talk about this ministerial position, there are some individuals that we will be talking about frequently. One of them, again, is Betty Edu, and the other one would be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We have Jeffrey Oyemi that traveled across the globe representing Nigeria. We now have Yusuf Tuga that will be the Minister of Foreign Affairs representing Nigeria. You were talking about El Rufai earlier on. It seems El Rufai has finally accepted his fate that he will not be part of this government. And he's already singing, like you said, in the terms of reggaeton. El Rufai, as we know, was the former governor of Kaduna State, but it seems that trailer, as Nigerians will say, have gone through between El Rufai and the new government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. El Rufai was scrutinized for security reasons. He was not given the soft landing during his own, Senate appearance. He has actually now finally said, it seems that I will just allow somebody else to be nominated. But the headline this morning is, Nigerian netizens have mocked ex-governor Nasir El Rufai, christening him as a reggae minister. Why is that? Following his cryptic lamentation on the betrayer by posting on a Bob Marley song lyric underscoring the theme. Yesterday, according to the report, Mr. El Rufai shared a lyrics of Bob Marley, who capped the feat that decry betrayal by close friends and allies. It seems El Rufai is saying to Bola Tinubu, you are just the same betrayer. We brought you in, but it seems that you are just being marginalizing us. Maybe just the way Buhari marginalized others. We will have to wait and see. But it seems that 2027, which is after the first year of Bola Tinubu, maybe he might bring back El Rufai, just as Buhari had to go back and bring in Bola Tinubu after there was a fallout during the first year.
Well, let's see. Would there be a fallout? After all, the president Tinubu appointed him, and so he has done his best. It's only that the committee that's supposed to approve them thought that he wasn't qualified because of security reasons. Well, is it because he's going to say that, well, as far as he's concerned, there will not be any Christian leader or this in that particular part of, is it Kano or Kaduna, whichever place that he is, and that's what has caused him. Where? Kaduna, yeah, and that is what has caused him. Well, we all live to see. Starr Radio UK. Now let's come quickly to one person who we thought that maybe under Buhari he was a wonderful man. He goes abroad to make statements pertaining to what is happening in Nigeria, but he never wanted to address the press in Nigeria so that people can scrutinize him. That is Lai Mohammed. Well, he's going on lobbying so that he could get some position. Lai Mohammed. Yummy.
Well, the former information minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, seems to be, it seems that he's still interested to be part of this government. Maybe, Bola Tinubu will give him that soft landing. We don't know yet. But, Lai Mohammed, one of the biggest liar of our time, you would think that as an elderly man, he would try to minimize his lies. But rather, even his grandchildren told him that, Dad, we were told that your name, Lai Mohammed, tells a lot of lies, and it lies a lot. It tells the international community that there's safety in Nigeria, there's security in Nigeria, but we know all that is lie. But Lai Mohammed is now lobbying the Nigerian custom for publicity contract. The custom boss said that many Nigerians had a misconception and in some cases a narrow understanding about lobbying. According to Adewale Adeniyi, the acting controller general of the Nigerian Customs Services, says the service will lead way in using lobbying as a tool in governance. He said this in Abuja when he received a team of lobbyist firm led by the immediate past Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. The team was on official visit to Mr. Deni to introduce the services of British Constitute, an affiliated of a U.S. lobbyist organization that is now asking for a job in the custom control section of Nigeria.
He doesn't want to go sleeping, you know. He wants to still have some job, raking in the money. Interesting. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, last week, whilst you were on holidays, there was this story that broke pertaining to the some posters or some billboards that have been erected that was of the view or what saying that the whole of Nigeria was watching. Or yes, what the what they call
all eyes on the judiciary.
All eyes on the judiciary pertaining to the electoral tribunal, and because of that, the president came out like a ton of bricks over them, and some people have been sacked and all stuff. Now, it says all eyes. What is wrong with saying all eyes? But it looks like we have Atiku Kwankwaso Obi discussing a merger. We've talked about that. So I think that myself and you, we are prophets. People have to come to us. We prophesy things that will happen. That if there is a recall of elections, I bet the best way is that all these teams, the opposition, will have to come together and boom, Tinubu will be long gone. But with that statement, that all eyes on the judiciary and everything, what is going on exactly when it comes to the election tribunal hearing?
Well, if there is any changes that will make the election tribunal to make what we called, what is not new. I mean, Turkey had a rerun, so we shouldn't be scared of a rerun. But should a rerun happen in Nigeria and the two candidates come together and match, that is going to be maybe the end of these Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We don't know, because we know that between the three of them, it couldn't meet up to, the 25% according to what they're saying on the FCT. There's a lot of challenges on that. But we know that the numbers between the three of them, if two of those match together, that could be a big problem. But from what we are hearing right now, Atiku, Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi are discussing a merger, and they may set up a formidable party. Would that make any changes, at this particular time? Or maybe they are preparing for 2027. As much as many Nigerians are still not satisfied yet, they have to wait for the outcome of the election tribunal. Nobody knows what is going to happen yet. But the headline says Atiku, Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi are now discussing a merger, gearing up for possibility as the country continue its transition process. The trio of Atiku Abubakar, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi have begun to discuss the possibility of a merger with the ultimate goal of setting up a formidable party that could move effectively, challenging the ruling party. Remember that it took a merger of the CPC. Buhari couldn't do it on his own. He tried it one time, Ilule, according to Tinubu. He tried it the second time, Ilule. The third time, Tinubu said, come, let me teach you politics. Let's do a merger. And they were able to uplift the PDP. It seems that the PDP are now thinking the same way after not believing that Peter Obi could push. It seems Atiku is still interested. The question then is, who is going to be coming out under that party as a president and the vice president? Because we know in 2019, it was Atiku and Peter Obi. Peter Obi was not satisfied that he couldn't get a ticket. He ran to Labour Party. Labour Party made the push, and the push almost overthrown Tinubu in Lagos State, and they had to play the ethnic card, by saying that don't allow the Igbos to take over Lagos State. But this time around, who is going to bow down for each other between Rabiu, Atiku, and Peter Obi? And to remind our listeners, Atiku has been contesting as far back as 1993.
Well, maybe 2027 is what they are looking at. We're not very sure about whatever is happening. But listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. But is there any indication of when the verdict will be coming from the election tribunal? Have they given any indication at all?
Well, all eyes on the judiciary is one of the most trending hashtag right now. All eyes on the judiciary, and it seems that as many people are still waiting. We don't know yet, but what we can say is that it seems many Nigerians are probably in the hope that the judiciary will make the best out of whatever is going to be the outcome. But like I said, we have to wait a little bit more longer for us to know when that is going to happen. But for now, it is still speculation what is going to be the outcome of the judiciary. And like you said, yes, there was these banner. I don't know, it seems that maybe Tinubu was driving past and his eyes caught up on it. Maybe some of the politicians that are under APC, and they were not really pleased about these banner that was erected somewhere in Abuja, and that's the banner right behind me. And the banner stated, "All eyes on the election tribunal judges, diaspora for good governance." Guess what? That was quickly removed. But before it was removed, I believe it has already served the message that those that wanted to put it there wanted it to do.
No, the question is, what was wrong with that statement, in your view? I mean, because we want to see if the judiciary thinks that Tinubu's team has presented a good case and they've got good evidence that he won fairly, what is wrong? If they find out that, the opposition, that's what we call Atiko and Obi and Kwankwaso, they didn't perform well and therefore they lost, what is wrong with that? So why are they angry about that?
Well, like you said, politicians are not always comfortable when it comes to, images like these. They feel very, very uncomfortable, and they were very, very uncomfortable. They had to take it down. But it seems that the message already passed already, and that's all I can say.
But what do Nigerians, before I just let you off and then bring us the results, what do Nigerians think about the judiciary? Do they think that they're going to be free and fair?
Many Nigerians believe the judiciary would play the role that they are meant to do in accordance to the constitution of the country. So many Nigerians believe in the judiciary. I don't believe in the judiciary because I've seen many times of such that has not gone. But this is going to be the very first case that this judiciary would prove to the international community, and that will probably be part of the reason that according to the global peace, Nigeria is under 144 out of 163 countries where there is no peace. Iceland is the most peaceful country in the world. Benin Republic is 110. Even UK could not make up to 1 to 20. We are at number 37, but we are still far better than Nigeria.
Well, listeners, are we better? If you are listening to us from Nigeria today, do you see as the security and everything going on? Do you think it is a good place? Would you want to rush and just go and invest there? Are you sure of the judiciary that when you have a case, well, they will adjudicate in your favor if you have got everything right, and that people will not be coerced or induced in any way, shape, or form? Well, whatever it is, Starr Radio UK is here. Make your comments known. But now, let's go to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much. Well, the question is, are we going to see ECOWAS after the last meeting in Ghana still going out to do what they've asked the other members to support? We've heard from the junta saying that we have 3 years to roll out our transition and give back the power according to them, but it seems that that is not going well with ECOWAS as we speak right now. So the headline again is ECOWAS reject the junta transition plan. Would that mean that soldiers will be rolled out? We don't know yet, but we saw that, I've been away for a few days, but I'm sure you've been catching up just as I've been following as well. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has rejected the Niger junta 3 years power transition plan. ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs and Peace and Security, Abdul Fattah, have stated ECOWAS Commission for Political Affairs stated this, during an engagement, with the BBC yesterday. According to what we know, General Abdurrahman Tichani, the leader of the Niger junta, on the picture there, had said in a televised broadcast, and this was just after the representative again, the Sultan, have gone back again. This time around, the Sultan was able to see the disposed, Mohammed Bazoum, and it seems that as they were leaving Niger, the broadcast came in just to put in their own out there. According to General Ticheni, proposed is just a small screen. This is coming from Abel Fatou. So the question then is, what is going to happen between now and then? We know that they were on a standoff. We saw what was said in Ghana, that they are now fully ready, but they are not going to tell anyone when is it going to happen. Maybe it's going to be in the dark night, and then in the morning, we're going to find out. But many Nigerians are still very concerned about the situation as well. Tinubu brings back Niger Delta Development Ministry, names Muhammad as a minister designated, is coming from one of the headlines as well. New leaders take charge of Africa's largest economy. Are we going to see these new leaders? As we say, now that the economy is really falling apart, the dollar is dropping down a little bit, but the pound sterling is still under 1,100 this morning when it comes to the exchange rate. I'll be giving all the details of these after 84 days of swearing in. Tinubu finally inaugurate a 45-man cabinet. Federal government is now completing documentation exercise of this minister designated, and that means that they will be up and running in different sector, making the manifesto, as we know this morning at about 2 hours ago right now, is still ongoing at the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja. There is still the signing and the paparazzi, but the most important Nigeria wants to see is the changes in the economy, the insecurity, and that is the most important part for many Nigerians today. Let's now go straight to some of the other headlines as we have it this morning. Pandemonium as gunmen killed a retired policeman and a wife in Imo State is coming up the headline. 3 gunmen last night shot dead a couple identified as Mr. and Mrs. Sampozo Owobo in Owerri in Imo State. According to the correspondent, who hailed from Edo State, was a retired assistant superintendent of police. The incident, which happened around 8 p.m. beside Chisco Transport Company office, very close to the Owerri Area Police Command. You will believe that living close to the police station will be safe, but like we say, Nigeria is not a safe place, as many things is happening. A young Nigerian as well was kidnapped in Abuja. She's a youth copper. As we speak right now, no location, and we can only pray that she's returned back to her family. Also, a lot is happening. There was also a young man that believed that maybe is what he was saying on the social media was not going comfortable well with the Muslims in Ilorin. He was kidnapped. You will wonder that you can only kidnap in Nnamdi Kanu, but even within the territory of Nigeria, people get kidnapped. He was actually lured to a particular bus garage and he was kidnapped, and now is currently facing charges. But it seems that from what Showore is saying yesterday, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, a human rights activist and a lawyer, has now stood to file for his bail. We'll be monitoring that as well. It seems that some governors have decided that maybe because there's a lot of conversation between the Muslims, the tradition, yesterday decided to grant what they called Isheshe Day. So throughout yesterday, there was a celebration of Isheshe Day in Yoruba land, but not all the states, including Kwara State, have not accepted to be an Isheshe Day because they are saying that we don't want Isheshe. Kwara State is an Islamic state, as we know that, even though it's meant to be a Yoruba state. So we hope that some of the ministers and especially the chief judge, the Attorney General of the Federation, will be looking onto what the Constitution says, the Constitution of Nigeria, when it comes to allowing individual citizens to practice their tradition. It seems that Kwara State has now been hijacked by those that need to hijack it. But we hope that normalcy will come back into the state, because in the last couple of days there has been a lot of tension and pressure in the state. It seems that the DSS are still wondering, how did Nigerians knew about the Kaduna train attack? Remember that, some years back, about 2 years ago, if I'm right, we lost Dr. Chinelo and so many people during the terrorist attack on the Kaduna Abuja train. Dr. Chinelo was just about 72 hours to travel to Canada from the information that we had. Then the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, told us that, well, I advised the government that there will be an attack, but it seems that the government was not bothered, and eventually there was loss of life. Dr. Chinelo died in that particular, that's a face there. I'm sure some of you remember. But it now seems that the leak memo that came out last week, DSS have now arrested Abuja Kaduna trade manager. According to the headline, the Department of the State Services has arrested the manager of Abuja Kaduna Train Services, Pascal Noli, following the leak of a memo warning of a possible terror attack on Abuja. Whether it was the right thing that Nigerians are told that there will be an attack, and that will put Nigerians to be security conscious. But it seems that according to the Nigerian Railway Corporation, on condition that the manager was arrested along with the operational manager Victor Adamu and so many other staff, it seems that the DSS continue to arrest many Nigerians, just as Nnamdi Kanu is still in their custody. In that memo that was signed by the director of the DSS FCT command, R.N. Adekwemu, the secret police warned train passengers to be security conscious. Maybe they should have announced that officially on the radio and television to many Nigerians, rather than allow that memo to have been leaked in the first place. But it seems that those in charge have now been arrested, and they are now also in the DSS custody. So we will be monitoring that. Let's come to London. It seems that there is a bit of confusion that Ashake has used the image of one of the female that died during one of his concerts in London a few years ago. The deceased concert goer's sister has now knocked Ashake over a video tribute. Rachel, the sister of the late Rebecca Ikumelo, has slammed the popular musician Ashake for tribute made to the deceased during his Sunday concert in London. Rebecca and a security guard, Gabriel, both died after sustaining injuries during a crowd surge at a show that was held in December last year. On Sunday, Ashake has held another concert in the city, but paid tribute to deceased fans before commencing his performance. But it seems that and then he also displayed the picture on video of Ikumelo and the other guard. But it seems that the family are wondering why he would take that step without consulting them. Well, let's pray for those that have lost their family, and we hope that such incidents will not be coming again on the surface of people that are attending concert in London. Just about on the 29th, we saw Wizkid was able to pull 62,000 crowd at the Tottenham football ground. Many Nigerians, diasporans, love to visit some of these concerts, but safety measure must be put in place, and we hope that will be something that the council in UK will be looking up to. Let me come back again to you in the studio, but again, sit at home, continue in the southeast where there is less activities going on and billions of naira lost out again.
Well, listen at Starr Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria before we run up. But Ashake's case, I mean, what is wrong with him? I mean, paying tribute to somebody who lost their lives on his a tour or on his performance. I don't see anything. At times, I think our emotion takes the better side of us, and then because at least he's showing that, look, whatever, maybe they want him to maybe donate some money. He wasn't the one working on the security. He wasn't the one. All that he was up to was that he was, I mean, he'd been contracted to come there to come and perform, and that was what he was doing. So if anything, it is the organizers or the management of that particular place who should be held culpable. So I don't know why maybe the family is doing that. Maybe because I'm not the one affected directly. That is all. But Yomi, what do you think about that?
Well, I believe the council will be doing, diligent checking on these. We don't know what is the outcome of that particular council where the event was held in December. I saw the crowd. It seems that something similar was almost going to happen as well on Saturday, because I was there outside when some youths wanted to, run through the security gate, and probably maybe they have ticket or not, I don't know, because I was just about a few distance away. But it seems that the incident that took place in December that led to the death of these beautiful sisters of ours and another security guard. What the family believe is that if you're going to be using that for another concert, then you need to maybe take consent from the family before putting the image of their loved ones again out there. Especially, it is not even 1 year and they are still mourning. We believe that whatever took place while he was doing what is meant to be done by just saying, we still love that particular person that died, but it seems the family are not pleased. But we'll have to wait and see if the Ashake is going to respond back to this particular, because this concert just took place again in London, but it seems that the concert on Sunday that Ashake held, which was yesterday, the family are already responding that she wrote, "What a sorry excuse of a tribute from Ashake. My sister lost her life at your show, and you haven't spoken to a single member of my family since. But you can hold another concert in London less than 9 months later and play a video as a tribute. R.I.P. Rebecca Ikumelo." So you can see that it seems that Ashake and the team have not paid. Maybe he would have done that by visiting them before going into the concert on Sunday. But who knows what was going through his own team.
Well, I mean, that is what they're saying, that maybe his team has not even responded or gotten in touch with the family, and that's why they are saying that they're fine. Because, I mean, when this happened, we had all the new media network here in the UK, I mean, flashing the image of this lady, those who lost their lives. It was just all over the place, so we saw it. So I don't see anything wrong, but if they want him to personally maybe get in touch with them, because at times there are legal attributes to that, because if you go to say sorry for your person blah blah blah, that means you've taken responsibility, and the court can now take you on. So maybe it's advices from his maybe his legal team that has brought about that. But whatever things, let us calm down and let's solve this out nicely. Now let's come to the impact of the sit at home in the southeast. What has happened?
Well, the impact continued to ravage the economy, most importantly, as many businesses completely fold up on a Monday. But just as we know that the security are already stretched, and I'm reading from what Femi Fanikayode, we thought he was going to be given a position, but it seems he hasn't got one. But he's now responding to this current situation with ECOWAS, and this is what he put out some few hours ago. ECOWAS doesn't even have a combat-ready force. They will depend on the Nigeria. Presently, Nigeria gives more than 80% of the MNJTF fund. Again, Nigerian military is currently engaged in internal operation in all the 6 geopolitical zones. We only have less than 200,000 personnel. With the current economic crunch, where are their resources coming from? To depend on the Western countries that have their own interest to protect, all our IDPs and refugees are still in camps. We have not been able to resettle them for more than 10 years. So how do we undo additional masses of IDP and refugees that will definitely result from the crisis? Nigeria will be in a deep shit if we go for this adventure. But it seems that on the other side, looking at the government in exile of the Biafra, Simon Ekpa, continue to say that, well, sit-at-home update in Abia State is ghost town. Today, 21st of August 2023. Again, as many Nigerians believe that now that we have ministers in place after 84 days, maybe it is time now that the AGF, remember I talked about the AGF must now look into especially the health of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB that has been held in the custody of the DSS after the rendition and kidnapping. The AGF, for peace to reign, even though we know, according to the data out there, Nigeria ranked 144 out of 163 countries. Afghanistan is the last country on that chart at 163. Do we want peace? Simon Ekpa said, I'm not going to talk to Nnamdi Kanu on the phone. He needs to be out there, outside the country. And when he's out, he will take charge and maybe the sit-at-home. Remember that the sit-at-home was not something that was initiated by Simon Ekpa. He's been there even before, he took over. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. But it seems already now that it is having a big toll on the economy of the Southeast and the other regions across as well.
Well, let's see what the new Attorney General will be doing, and maybe he will have a different stance on that. But has he, what has the president said so far? We know lots of people, or lots of big hooks, let me put it that way, in the Southwest have appealed to the presidency, and we are thinking that maybe by this time they would have come out to say, you know what, let Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho come back to Nigeria to come and see the burial of the mom or whatever. But we've not heard anything. Have you heard anything else?
Well, again, nothing is still coming out from the president after 84 days with new ministers in place. But you're quite right. There is now pressure growing that the embargo on Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho should be lifted to enable him, maybe not just to come and bury the mother, but to enable him to travel to see, the family that he hasn't seen for the last 2 years since he's been, held in Benin Republic on humanitarian protection. But the question is, will this government make peace, as they are still trying to find a lasting peace in Niger? As Fenika said, there's still a lot of internal crises in the country that this government needs to talk about, not just the crisis in Niger.
Well, listeners, that is where we have to bring the update, because we've got lots to say. But don't you worry, tomorrow we'll be back and we'll bring you more. Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'll leave you again in the good hands of Mr. Archie for the rest of the program, but we are back again for more updates. Make sure you join us again tomorrow on the Starr Radio UK network, where we're going to continue the headline. As we say, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Good morning to all those that are listening and watching us from the sister broadcast as well. Archie will take you through the rest, and I believe at 12, the phone line will be open. You can follow us again on the Starr Radio UK at www.starradiouk.com, where you can monitor